I've just always been an advocate of people testing themselves, pushing themselves to the limit. If not the limit, just giving them a nudge and saying, hey, test your comfort zones. Test your desire to actually want to try new things. A lot of people just want to say, I can't do that. I don't think I can do that. I just think it's too difficult, or it's too involved, whatever it may be. Yeah, it may be, but you won't ever know if you don't try. But my point is that, 10, 11 years ago, I wasn't a woodworker. I wasn't a lighting designer. I was a sales manager in the heavy equipment world. Then before that, pipe fitting world, pipes and flanges and fittings. I made an important move in life. And that's another thing I like to talk about is that, so my wife and I were living in a very stick-built neighborhood. Just a 3-bedroom house, 2 stories, eighth of an acre, not even eighth of an acre, probably square footage on the land. So your neighbor was literally that far away from you. No extra room, no basement, the garage was small. It was a small 2-car. Stuff like that. So I had all these tools and they were on the shelves and tucked away. And every time I wanted to use them, I'd have to pull them out. Well, so my wife and I were thinking, hey, we'd like to move. And we want to move to the beach area. Not the beach, but the beach area.
You were the shadow to my light. Did you feel us? And all the stars,
not the beach, but the beach area. Say Georgia, Florida, Alabama. And in Alabama's case, down by the Gulf. South Carolina, probably Georgia the most, but we said, hey, let's buy a condo. At the time, real estate was pretty affordable. Let's get this little condo so we have a place to go when we go to the beach. And I thought, how much would we really use that? And we weren't and aren't big vacation people. We're not the ones going to Hawaii. We're not the ones going. We did save up a lot of money to go to Scotland, because my family, my name, Armstrong, we have a clan. It's a very strong Scottish name, but we couldn't go because of COVID. So we then just threw that money in the bank. We had it in a can probably. What I was getting at was that we decided, hey, why would we buy property somewhere else that we'll never use when we could just use that income or that money, clump it together, and we can upgrade our living lifestyle on a daily basis. So we bought a home that was a little bit nicer, a little bit bigger. Had certain amenities. It had a pool. We didn't have a pool before. She just went to the neighborhood pool, and she went there a lot. So I said, she'll use a pool. So let's get a house with a pool. So we did that. Nice backyard. Space, for me to do stuff. Big full basement. So in that full basement, I built a shop. In that shop, I had all my tools set up. I had my miter saw. I had my table saw here. I had my grinder there. I had all the different things set up. It was really organized and really nice. Now, I was just like, what am I going to build? I started making stuff. Coat racks, shoe racks, different things. I framed stuff in with wood that didn't have wood before, whether they be just blank canvases or something like that. So I was getting pretty good at it, and I was like, hey, what else can I make? And next thing you know, I was like, I have a degree in electronics, from back in the 90s. I was like, I'm not scared of electric. I'm going to make some lights. Let's see what I can do. So I started making some of these lights. Check these out. So I was really getting into the auto art aspect, wall lights, different things like that. Really dressing up older looking signs and adding lights to them and switch mechanisms and things like that. And that was a lot of fun. Check out my Instagram and you'll see, if you scroll all the way back, man, I was making some crazy stuff. I mean, I turned a Lamborghini wheel into a bar top table with a glass top, and it was a Lamborghini rim. You know, that thing was huge. And I put the table stand and the leg on it with the footrest, did it all, painted it all, put the glass top, LED lights on the inside. Check this out. I made that 10 years ago. Never made anything like that in my life. But you know, I said, hell with it. I'm going to try. Researched a lot of things, you know, found this, found that, ways to make things work and fit together. Actually, you know, I made a classic Lamborghini wheel bar table, and I've never done anything like that in my life. So I think everybody's got their Lamborghini table inside of them. But you got to give yourself the space to exercise it. If you have a workshop space, or you have a space where you can put one, I suggest you do it. If you're handy at all, do it. And then just sit down there with a cup of coffee, your phone, a TV down there, whatever it may be, in your basement, in your garage, in a spare room, in a shed, whatever it might be, and just kind of like visualize, hey, this would look cool if it was this way, and then just try it. Just do it. And then post it and see what people think. And they'll say, oh yeah, that's cool. And then they'll move on. Or they'll be like, I gotta have one. Where do I get one of those? Now you're selling stuff that you made. You know, it wasn't but 10 years ago, I had never made anything with my hands and sold it until I got on Etsy. And next thing you know, I'm 10 years later, I've sold over 4,000 lights. In the better part of America, I've shipped to every state multiple times. I've shipped to Canada, Puerto Rico, Finland, Ukraine, Italy, London, the UK. Where else? Australia. I've shipped to all these places. Very little overseas, and I don't ship overseas anymore because it's really complicated to ship overseas, believe it or not. And what the strange thing was, when you ship overseas, a lot of countries are doing is they attach like a tariff or a tax, so that the people that bought something, say from me, I ship it for free, or there's a fee depending on how that works out with the customer. But they pay for the item and it was free shipping, or they pay for the item and they pay for shipping with me. One of the two of those things would happen. But then they would get it, and then their government would charge them a tax.
These skies are blue, clouds are white.
I didn't understand what that was at all. It was crazy. And it kind of caught them off guard, and then they would get mad at me. I had one customer go, why did you do that? I go, I didn't do that. Your country did that. Well, why didn't you advertise that in your product? I'm like, because I don't know what your country does. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I don't know every country's tax code. I can't, that's not my responsibility. It's kind of your country's responsibility to communicate to you that they do that. Next thing you know, I'm making all kinds of really cool products. Like, check this out. This is like a recessed light. I call it the high and tight because it goes up high. It's a chandelier, and it goes tight to the ceiling. So if you have low ceilings, and then if you not only have low ceilings, but you have the need for angled light, directional light, these rotate 360 degrees, and I'm having trouble holding it and doing this, but they'll cup out 90 degrees. Probably end up dropping this. See that? And that'll turn 360 degrees. Isn't that great? And then here's how the backside looks. And this has all the voltage regulators and things like that are on. And then, say you have a light that goes out. All you got to do, and I'm going to push right here because I see that? These are all spring loaded. You'll just pull this out, watch, because these things will snap you. Right there. You'll unhook this. You'll order an individual light from me to replace this. Now, these aren't cheap, But you can buy 6 of these for about $100 on Amazon, and it comes with everything. Or you can buy one from me for about 30 bucks. Because I got to ship it, and it costs, you know, I take a beating. I don't make any money on the individual sales, but I do want to provide a solution for my customers after they buy the light. So then this just unscrews off of here like that. See, I'm going to do this all with one hand. You pull this out, then you get the new one, you plug it in, whatever, and then you spring load it back up into the light. If you have to replace it, you know, you shouldn't have to change them. But everything that gets made by a man's hand, you're going to have flaws. You're going to have ones that don't work as long. They didn't wire it right, or just whatever, faulty components, whatever it may be. So it only lasts maybe 2 days, a year, 2 years, when really they should last almost a lifetime. But essentially, nothing's perfect. I'm here to fix it. Replace one, or I'll give you the link on Amazon where you can have 6 for backup for $100. Anymore with the price of light bulbs, that's not terrible. See how this rotates 360 degrees like this, and then cups out at 90 degrees. And I think they fit people's spaces, especially like when you get bigger ones. And it goes back to what I was talking about in an older video, where people will replace these old fluorescent lights on the ceiling that have popcorn ceilings. They were painted 20 years ago, so the paint don't match. So the paint doesn't match underneath the light and around the light now when you pull it down. So they say they wanted to put a smaller fixture where a larger fixture was. Now they got this big rectangular paint they got to cover up. So when they pull that down, they look and they go, oh man, we got to cover that up if we want to get rid of this light. What do? They come to me. So now they replace a big fluorescent light with a big gorgeous, look at this sucker, with a big gorgeous six fixture, high and tight, black walnut, live edge, custom light. Now their space looks incredible. Wow, this is a custom light. I've never seen that at Lowe's before. Because Lowe's don't make it or sell it. Just the Woods Edge Company. That's about it. That's all I got.